getting either the 1 or 2 game loss and then 3 wins in a row.
Right.
So we know Cloud9 is not, at least in the past, hasn't been the type of team to lose 2 games in a series and then call it over. But last game, Rush did look, I dare say, tilted. And we'll see if he can pull it back here with the rest of Cloud9.
Yeah, definite situations where he had summoners up that he could have saved himself or been in a safer spot, but did not choose to do so. On to game number 4, Gangplank Twisted Fate, still coming from the side of Team SoloMid, and the Nidalee will be taking out this game along with Yellow Star's Janna, actually picked up for those 2 wins as well, has been disengaging Cloud9 as they try to get in for those kills.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe Cloud9 going to look to go a little bit more aggressive backline assassination here, trying to take out the Janna. What are they going to do about the front line, though? Because that has been a pretty big problem. Hansler there with the Maokai is taken to him very quickly. And Balls hasn't really had an answer with the Gangplank. Game 1, the Global was successful, but it wasn't so much the Gangplank that was winning the game.
So a couple big bans there by Cloud9 to block it out. Unless TSM is willing to first pick the Maokai, I absolutely think Cloud9 should pick it. It's something that used to be a staple of Cloud9's team fighting, is they'd throw the Maokai up in the top lane for Balls, and it was very effective. And if we look globally at picks and bans, Maokai was by far the most picked top laner in Korea and China, and then actually received his first ban in the European series today after being so dominant. So teams have been very willing to pick it. I think that should either transition over to bans or it should be picked as a very high priority.
He does have more stats now, but every time you talk about Stanks with more stats, Trundle counter pops up somewhere. And
we just heard about it from the desk.
Trundle into him and melt him.
Yeah.
Taunting with the Morgana, showing a few of these picks. It's going to be the Gragas first, with all the choices that are actually left up.
So
Aaron wants the Gragas.
Rush, even though if you were to do a tier list of junglers, you put the Kindred right below the Nidalee, Rush has had trending performances on Kindred that make it seem like he wouldn't want to pick it again. So TSM's not going to let him off the hook. They're going to say Gragas into Kindred. Maybe at some point we'll be able to knock you out of your ultimate, and they're kind of daring Rush into this pick.
That's always a really interesting matchup to me, because I've talked to a bunch of different junglers, and some of them actually like running Kindred into Gragas and feel like they can outplay him because they can win the 1 versus 1 and they can wait out, play the waiting game with ultimate, you know, force Gragas to try and use it to engage on people. For me, I don't have that skill, so I always get crushed by the Gragas because it engages on you and smashes you out of the ultimate, but we'll see how confident Rush is.
Well, they don't need a jungler here. They don't also need to show too much. However, with that lock-in, that tells you where Corki's going, so they have the Corki and the Azir pick up for this game.
A lot of magic damage.
Yep.
Yeah, so much for the flex picking of the Corki. I also just realized Kobe and I are standing during Champion Select. We normally wait until the game to stand up. So something is exciting about this last game, for potential last game in this series.
Yeah.
It's all right. You guys do your thing. You do you. So that's Garen Bjergsen. Wait, now you can see Bjergsen with a little bit of chatter on the screen discussing what these picks could be. TSM has kind of shied away from a bunch of the hovers.
Sven's feeling hot.
It's cooling down. He had 2 great games. He's heating up, man. He's playing very well. He was questioned, and he has shown results. Can he do it one more time? The whole team actually stepping up. Doublelift was pretty on the spot with the way the last 2 games went, is that individual players on their team are able to capitalize on C9's mistakes.
Yeah.
What is the lock-in? It is going to be a Graves and a Braum.
Yeah, could definitely be top Gragas as well.
Yes.
Even though we initially thought the Gragas would be going support. So they still have a lot of ability to flex pick. And also, High can very easily pick Morgana here.
Yeah. So Cloud9 right now, what they need 2 main things. They need a physical damage source, so they don't get tanked, just pure tanked again. But they also need some crowd control for this front line. Azir and Corki are some of the highest damage backliners in the game right now. If Sneaky and Jensen can have a good early game, like all you need is some CC to stand in front of them and some sort of physical damage to keep the tanks honest. Poppy fits all bills, plus she's the top laner of the bunch right now.
Yep.
Don't know why they would not pass that unless Balls doesn't feel comfortable on it.
Yeah, it has to be this.
2
for
plays.
the comp to make sense.
2 plays all season on that top Poppy for Balls. And we do see it locked in with the Kindred. Now to the side of Team SoloMid.
That also makes it hard for TSM to go back to the Maokai, because Poppy's pretty good into Maokai.
It is. It also depends on how much lane swapping we're going to end up seeing. Like, will they be able to isolate the Poppy into the Maokai, or is it just going to be this top Gragas if they're going to jungle the Graves? Because based on their team composition right now, they already have a jungler and top laner, so they're most likely not going back to the Maokai at all, unless they throw Gragas mid. The old Abyssal Scepter, but that's highly doubtful.
2 tunneled on the Maokai. All right, double lift back on the Kalista. Probably locks that one in. And they round it out with a Bjergsen pick. I don't know. Having seen Bjergsen back on an Assassin, it's so enjoyable to watch these games.
He's been practicing Vel'Koz against Azir. Specifically for this matchup.
The long-range damage has always been one of the big counters to Azir. People would run Varus mid into Azir, poke him out before he even gets to join into the team fight. But Vel'Koz has a ton of wave clear as well as that long-range damage. Let's see Bjergsen's tentacle monster.
Thank you, Kobe. Thank you for that. Last pick up here for Cloud9. It is going to be the Morgana. It gets locked in by High, but the Bjergsen on Vel'Koz for this game, basically calling out Jensen on his Azir, saying, let's do this. We've seen a lot of lane swaps. If that does happen, they're even on more of an island in the mid lane against each other. I am definitely excited for this game. You guys were standing for a reason. I knew it.
Yeah, so as of right now, they have Hunter on the top Gragas, which has been played in LPL and LCK.
Yep.
They still have 10 seconds to swap them back.
Right.
But Svenskeren played so much jungle Graves and been so good on his jungle Graves that I feel like they keep it like this.
I think that's absolutely what's going to happen. TSM, again, has a very strong team-fighting team. This time, though, Cloud9 counters with a team-fighting team instead of trying a weaker version of something to split them up.
Plus, I think this time around, Cloud9 actually want to play the long game. Cloud9 have great scaling, whereas top lane Gragas falls off, jungle Graves also falls off. So I feel like Cloud9 just have so many things that are going to get really strong later. They can actually, change their game plan as well and play the long game.
I loved it coming in on this heal for both mids and ADs, teleports in the top, and exhaust for the support. So there's really no kill pressure spells. They're going to be healing, running around, trying to stay alive for as long as possible in these fights. It's going to be a good one. Who's going to come out on top? I don't know. Do you? Take a guess. Tweet hashtag TSM winner, hashtag C9win with your predictions. And I may just count them later, or somebody else will, but we'll count them. The more important thing is, it's Game 4, and it's possibly game point for Team SoloMid. Cloud9 looking to keep their quarterfinal playoff hopes alive here and stay in the running. They've done it before. We know C9 for their sweeps to come back. Does the win hurt them? Can they get it here? We're on the Rift, and we are into Game 4.
We definitely know it's not over until it's over with both of these teams. With any team, but specifically with these teams.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. Speak the truth, Matt. Speak the truth.
I mean, this also calls back to how important the playoff bye is. Coming into the last week of the regular season, Cloud9, if they win over Team Liquid, they get a tiebreaker with COG. Maybe they don't even have to play in the first round.
Look at this. Everybody's fighting already, too. Everybody's antsy, ready to get into this one.
We were standing during Champ Select. Everyone is just...
I don't know why you sat down.
There's more pressure on this game.
All right. Lane swap boards come out again for another time here for both sides. Mirrored. Ping down. Everybody's seen them come out. Nice tower. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah. Anyway, this was a more aggressive level 1. With all the trading we saw, we got to see deep wards on both sides, so they're not blind swaps if they end up going with the lane swap. They're very actively splitting the map this time.
Yeah, TSM will leave their top lane up there, or their dual lane up on top.
Yep.
And they're actually going to start on their safe side, whereas Cloud9 are going to try and have Sneaky and High make a, I don't know, kind of tweaked movement up top, but they were standing on a ward, so TSM have seen it, and that's why Hanser's channeling his teleport early, because he knows he's in a 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
And he's on the opposite side of the map, so little sneaky movement there from Cloud9.
Yep, they get the teleport advantage.
It does give them a small advantage here. We'll see if balls goes hard. Like you can just trade over and over and over again if you know that you have teleport advantage. And then after all corruption potion stacks from both of you have been used, you can teleport back in.
And he's typically going to know he has about a minute until Svenskeren could cycle realistically down to that side of the jungle. Even if he does the fastest possible clear, Gromp blue to red, it's still going to be a while. That's actually kind of the direction he's going because I think Balls is going to be wanting to play very aggressive. And it's not like Gragas can't trade back.
Yeah.
Haunter's no slouch.
Good shield by Yellow Star. Looks like both teams hitting level 2 around that same time and try to take advantage of it. The Rend on Sneaky doesn't take a minion, so they can't keep going.
This is a jungler playground. All lanes are trading heavily, except for the mid lane who are really long range.
Yeah.
And
Rush
Rush is
on
already
this side,
bottom.
they're faster.
This is what C9 needs. We've seen them having a lot of trouble if they get back in the early game, and the steadfast presence level 2.
Massive outplay. Haunter
What a
had
move.
no chance with that.
So what Ball specifically did, he put on a steadfast presence and then flashed ahead of Haunter, so there's no way he can body slam out that way. Even if he flashes,
Can't even
there's
flash
still a
body
good chance
slam.
he's going to die. Whoa.
There's no way for it to escape there, even if
Yep.
Haunter flash body slams as well.
And even though Svenskeren was trying to do the modified route to get down there, because Rush started top side, or blue buff side, he was able to get there. Look at that, stuffing the body slam. That's
All
big.
right,
He
so
almost may not
Poppy
have
off
had to
to a
flash
strong
there.
early
Still a
start.
great play.
Remember
Rush.
he had teleport advantage as well. So like this is huge. You're
That's what
getting
you said.
the
Use it when
lane
you
with
can.
teleport advantage that could affect the rest of the map ahead.
Yeah, I think that's huge, but I think the bigger thing is Rush, just because he was so bad last game, 3 and 7. Getting that kill to start off completely resets your mindset. He can get back to playing his aggressive ways, it feels like.
Also, you know, Cloud9 in general, we talked about their low ward style. Low ward style can work very easily if you're super far ahead in the early game. Like, you just need to get ahead early. You use your money to buy combat effectiveness, then keep forcing fights, and you can play with a low vision style.
Yeah,
shove up the minion waves. The minions will give you vision. Then you get to go invade the jungle.
It's basically what Rush is doing right now. He is a sentry walking around controlling that area. Knowledge of basically anything. It looks like it almost was Svenskeren, but he backs himself out. High staying aggressive with the Dark Binding onto Yellow Star, but still just a back and forth that looks like Cloud9 has been able to come out on top of. Lanes match up for this one as we see, so we may actually see jungle pressure mid lane as well.
Some important wards here from TSM during that little lull, though. They got deep wards, so they know that Rush has been clearing his jungle. He's on the bottom side right now, and they can't really do anything about this mark that's on the Scuttle Crab, but they do know where Rush is. As you see that question mark go down, they're like, you know what, he's either getting Gromp or he's going for this mark. They know what side of the map he's on, and Svenskeren's trying to hug that bottom side so that Haunter doesn't get too much extra pressure down here and he can try and get back into this matchup.
36 to 35 in that mid lane. Looks like the top lane here for Sneaky and High, a little bit safer it seems. High hitting the bindings gives Sneaky a bit more pressure to work with. But really, we haven't been able to see the matchup. Every lane's been every game, I should say, has been a lane swap.
Yeah, both Bjergsen and Jensen from the early trading recalled early to get a second Dorans. They're really going for lane dominance, and here's the attempt at the teleport advantage.
Binding from High.
Right against the wall. They can't finalize a lot of the damage through Unbreakable there, and Yellow Star keeps himself alive.
Kind of an odd one to start it out, but Yellow Star, no summoners.
But also teleport down in a lot of lane
Jensen. Very nice job not walking towards the turret, so he didn't get end of the line immediately. Got himself away from that.
Flashes out of the second activation of the damage, and Cloud9 continue sending everyone top, try and pressure them off the turret. Svenskeren actually hovering around there, though, seeming like he might come up, and TSM move right back in to get those minions, so not much loss for them. Cloud9 still sitting on that first blood advantage, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of that advantage actually was lost with that attempted gank, though. That's 2 full waves that Haunter's been able to shove up to the turret bottom lane that Balls has completely missed out on. And then Svenskeren also got to counter jungle rush to catch up in experience. And still 400 gold behind because the first blood is so beneficial.
Also, mid lane gets a lot better for Bjergsen now that he's got 3 levels in the... Oh! Well, he's got his ultimate, so that helps too. But he also has 3 levels in the Void Rift, which helps with your minion wave control on Vel'Koz. Maxing your W is the way to go. And it puts out a lot more pressure. You can just pop those very quickly. Also harasses Jensen out of lane.
Yeah, this is also... That's Rush. Don't worry about taking some harass. This is also the first time in the NALCS we've seen the Gragas solo lane as well. So
Right.
just so people know, he typically just mimics the same item builds that you'd see out of a Poppy or Nautilus. So it's like the Iceborne Gauntlet, Sunfire Cape, and Spirit Visage later in the game. And he will max W for the melee trading wave clear most of the time.
Well, Haunter is actually
Wow.
maxing.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
That's a level 5, guys. That is not going to be fun for Rush. Path. Oh, he can't get the eagle. He hits 6 as he goes
Where did he
over
get
the
that?
wall.
Was
He
amazing.
smited it.
We got to go
We're
back
gonna
and
see
look at
that
how
again.
he got his level 6, but that was amazing jukes there from Rush.
Yeah.
I think he's got his confidence
Yeah.
back. You talked about that early kill doing wonders for him.
So
but
probably challenging Smite would be used in lane to reduce damage. And then maybe just the minions dying to the turret hit him 6 as he jumped over. Because when you're on
Very
the
true, very
the
true.
close side of Raptors, you can get experience from things dying to the mid lane turret. Kobe's watching it right now. It's got to be what happened. Let's see. So he's 5. Gets knocked up.
minions are dying to the turret right now.
The cannon.
minion died.
Yeah. Cannon.
His cannon minions died. So
And
he
there's-
leveled up his ability very quickly.
Ben
there. That's
Scarin
about it.
thought that was a sure kill when he flashed over because they guarantee you he didn't see that he hit level 6 from the cannon minion.
All right. He smited Sven as he came over. Wow. Fast fingers from Rush.
Unlucky.
Confidence. Yeah, unlucky. That's a good way to put it.
Or lucky. Calculated.
Well, TSM, with that pressure, I mean, even before that, I was going to mention, Jensen was forced out of the lane. Bjergsen got him on half a back, then made him back. He missed that full wave. Still tough for Cloud9 here. TSM looking good here in the beginning of the game, even with that kill going over to C9.
Yeah. Also, by the way, as we're watching Vel'Koz, the passive is applying in the game. It's just an observer bug right now, so visual bug there, but he is getting the passive stacking. Applying.
The package is looking. He's on a ward. That's a big gank.
Woo! Right over the wall! Bjergsen finds himself in a threes a crowd situation when he thought he was only saying hi to one person.
Well, passive damage not going to help you there.
Yeah, Jensen hops over 1 wall. Sneaky jumps over 2 walls, and that's what it takes.
And again, Cloud9, the strengths that we listed for them, the skirmishing, the playmaking ability there around Jensen, around the mid lane. Sneaky, though.
Good choice.
Yeah. Also, quick callback. Haunter is, as Kobe said, maxing his Q on Gragas. That's not
It is
what
an
most people
abnormality.
do. It's abnormal, so it's more ranged wave clear, maybe because he was falling behind early. He couldn't take the melee trade, so he did a quick switch. By level 13, it will even out. Sven Scarin trying to get something back, though, because Cloud9 has really jumped out to an early game lead.
Nice ult.
Lance Respite is up. He's going to try to walk him on the other end. He's going to hold it.
He loves using that Kalista ultimate in unnecessary situations. I think they could have used that for a bit more pressure in mid, but they're going to be going for a turret there as well.
Oh,
My.
right onto Haunter. Nice tanking by High. The last few
Oh.
to finalize the kill. He does get it.
So Haunter had a really good play, followed up by that teleport right under the turret, but it's into a turret of 2 post-level 6 champions.
Right.
High makes the aggressive call right there, and High is definitely one you have to expect that type of play from Cloud9. Some people may be a little bit more trepid about going for that, but Cloud9 immediately capitalized on that. Teleport and top laner death there from TSM. Another one of those big swings from one of those sort of unforced errors.
Go gets him with the knockup.
There's the... Already got the pop damage.
Bjergsen missed 2 of his spells in that combo.
Yeah.
He just landed the knockup into the ultimate, so that shows kind of one of the reasons you'll pick the Vel'Koz into this matchup. Jensen wants to do a lot of standing still in order to make his soldiers auto attack, so it makes the skill shots a little bit easier to land. And you can also outshove Azir with the Vel'Koz as well.
Yeah. Another big thing about Vel'Koz is getting up to your ghosties so that you can set up your long-range combo, because the knockup from Vel'Koz is pretty hard to land on 0 ping on enemies that are going to juke it. So setting up those ghosts is actually very big for picks. Vel'Koz, that transitions him into a very good long-range pick champion, and they can look for more of those plays around mid where they try and snag people.
Whew, they're going hard right now, and he flashes out. Rush is going to be there as well, but I don't think Rush knew Balls wanted out that much. And now Rush is in a real bad situation. Not the first time as well. We saw instances of this last game. Collateral damage is going to pick that one up, but Cloud9, it was definitely an error there.
Yeah, some miscommunication. Balls was out. Rush did not have to go in to take that, but he was feeling a little frisky. TSM capitalized. They get the kill back this time in addition to the turret that they were going to get anyway. And it trades with the top side as Sneaky is up there alone.
Decent-sized pressure swing, though. Rush with the first blood has already added 2 deaths.
Mid lane High's going for a roam, though.
Yeah, they're going to want this. They know his summoners are down.
They're going for the for sure kills here, and this one may not even be for sure. Tormented Soil and a soldier able to pick that one up, but they have to go so hard, it costs them their life. Jensen goes down as Svenskeren picks that one up.
Yeah,
this
game's getting a little nuts. These guys are definitely pushing the tempo.
See hero, kill hero right now.
Yeah, Cloud9's going for a lot of aggressive plays to hopefully clinch it, and some of them are backfiring here. That dive, I would not say worked well because it leads to the counter push. And Rush, maybe he thought he was going to get a 2v2 down in that bottom lane, but that also cost them a turret. So knowing they have no flash down, they go in, but Svenskeren definitely changed the equation.
Yeah, comes in here for the counter, is able to flash over and fall him over the wall. Let's see what happens with this wall. Oh, it had a weird terrain. It knocked him through the terrain. You can't be in the terrain, so he popped out on the other side of the soldier.
Perfect call.
Not allowed to end in the terrain, and can't push him further enough.
He was going to be in auto attack range, even if he was like fully just stuck against the wall and unable to move. He would still have been in Brave's auto attack range, and the Sans soldiers do not block Brave's pellets from his gun. So, nice try by Jensen.
It's the effort which counts.
Saved his flash, though, so at least he still has flash in the mid lane.
Picks up blue. Be nice to control. The waves coming in. Their mid's open. They actually have to get something down in the mid lane on the side of TSM. That turret has to fall. Bot turret pressure so they don't get pushed in on that side. Cloud9 has a few things to repair before they can think ahead right now.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at TSM now to be proactive. Those ghosts I mentioned for Bjergsen have been completed. He's got his Frost Queen's claim. Bottom lane, though, they're just going aggressive.
Black Shield's there, though, to be used, and it's used for the Glacial Fissure. Easy to say. High could get rendered out on this one. They have the collateral damage to finish off. If it doesn't, and it's going to be an end of the line for High as he gets taken down, and TSM is just picking up small skirmish kills.
Asking, ye shall receive, Riv. TSM proactive in the early game. It wasn't around the Frost Queens, but they make it down bottom, and that's going to be the dragon for them.
And coming into this series, I mean, you could see the teams are kind of had been attacking each other's weaknesses. TSM had looked very out of sorts, so Cloud9 picked a global team composition to punish them not being able to make cohesive decisions. Then at the same time, come back to games 2 and 3, TSM picks very good early game strategies in which to punish Cloud9 for only playing with leads and punish their low warding. So they then were able to do the 1-3-1 in last game, and Zed got 11 kills, and they pick up here. But here, this is kind of the matchup where Cloud9 calls TSM, say, we're just going to team fight better than you, and then it's actually Cloud9 who is still making the mistakes after having an early game lead, and if they lose this matchup, then they have nothing left, right? They've made their adjustment. They still lose that one after the series over.
Yeah, it's been an interesting back and forth between masking the deficiencies while highlighting your strengths. And right now, dead even with Cloud9. Actually, as I said before, I think they have a really good scaling composition here. You know, Devourer, Jungle, Azir for the back line, and Corki. But we shall see. Package means that it's Cloud9's turn to look for a play. They do have teleport on balls, but Hauntzer can answer. Yeah. Both of those top laners can interrupt each other as well, so it adds another layer to that game.
Whoa, it's taking quite a bit of time. I always say it takes longer than 10-15 seconds. You're obviously setting up something for a big fight.
Yeah, everybody's bottom, plus the top laners were backing off.
Yes.
So they're looking for teleports.
Oh, I mean, Double is near a dying turret, so you'd think they fight.
TP coming in on one side.
Whoa!
It looks like Poppy Balls has not moved yet. His has been stopped. That ward cleared out. Whoa. It looks like C9 gets cleared down on that one. Ball's not coming through, kind of got me there, and now Cloud9 has to run for the hills. Svenskeren looking to finish an end of the line, but it hits the side of the turret, and it looks like they won't be able to finalize any more kills on this one.
Yeah,
smoke goes
down.
Talk
about both top laners being able to interrupt each other. Balls went for the teleport, but Hauntzer canceled it, and now he's going to kill him!
The ultimate right on top for the style. Yeah, interrupts the teleport, still has teleport, then goes for the kill as well. Jensen wanted to put up the Sun Disc right after they kill the turret, but that has an activation time, so putting that up did not give them an advantage in the fight, and they walk basically right into a Fate's Call initiation and a whole bunch of Vel'Koz damage to start the fight. Watch Bjergsen as this begins.
Yeah, everybody on the Lamb's Respite means you can't get killed, but everyone gets taken so low it doesn't matter. Because Lamb's Respite, it only really creates this king of the hill effect where if the other team could still push you off afterwards, if everyone's low, they could still get those kills. And here's Haunter, has already interrupted the teleport, goes for the 1 versus 1. You can't get away from Gragas. He's got the cooldown reduction. And Balls
burns him down with that Sunfire Cape. The flash, as soon as he gained vision of Balls to make sure his body slam connected, may have even secured the kill depending on how jukey Balls was going to be able to be on the next Gragas cast.
But even after all that, Gold's still really close, so both these teams can still take the team fight. Yeah, just a small snare there on Svenskeren, heals up this time.
A lot of poke
Yeah,
after
it
that.
should be okay.
binding.
Looks like they may actually no minion wave. They won't lose this mid turret, but C9 is going to lose top still without getting too much. They continue to lose things around the map.
Like I said, that wave clear on Vel'Koz with the double activation Void Rift annihilates minion waves, and TSM again get an extra turret. So now TSM up 1 turret as well as the extra kills.
Play as well from Bjergsen very well in this Vel'Koz. 2 blind picks into the Azir and then happens to get his practice Vel'Koz against Azir when that's taken by Cloud9 as their pick, almost working right into their favor here and really going with the confidence of their 2 wins in a row. Coming up on 20 minutes into the game, Cloud9 really hasn't been able to make too many advantageous moves other than the first kill, and now they're just getting picked up left and right, forced out of lane by just solo players here. Svenskeren able to do that to Jensen.
Yeah, even though Haunter doesn't have the best score line this time around, you know, or CS line, he's been creating plays for the team. In the mid lane, getting picks for the team. The 1 versus 1 there on Balls actually creating a huge advantage for them.
He's been involved in 3 kills. Balls have been involved in 1 kill. The CS differential exists, but the gold is actually in favor of Haunter by about 25, so a single CS. But it just goes to show, and now he's down. It goes to show how close he can really be, though, despite having that really disastrous start where Balls outplayed him with a steadfast presence. But nice recovery.
I mean, had Balls actually made that TP to the last fight, being 30 CS up the whole time, that would have been absolutely huge as well if he could have gotten there first. TSM is just hitting everything at the right moment. Cloud9 can't get kind of repaired on it. Down the mid lane here, they finally got themselves a minion wave they might be able to work with.
Double Lift is heading up the river. TSM might want to collapse on this one.
Yeah, they definitely do. The turret's down, but that doesn't mean the fight is not on.
Svenskeren gets a Soul Shackle by himself. They're ulting just single people here as they try to get their kills in. And then TSM comes back with a full team. Fates calls in, Fates calls out, and Double Lift flashes for the kill. Emperor's Divide pushes him back, but they're able to solidify that onto Jensen. And now they turn to Rush. Now they turn to Balls with Sneaky over the wall. They probably can't get him, but they'll finalize the Poppy, put him in the ground. And even when Balls can get to the fight now, he is just 5v1.
So good from TSM there, collapsing and outplaying in the skirmish around the second dying turret, but this Baron is really early.
Super early. Sneaky has his heal as well.
He's got
as
a big one.
rockets. I mean, they're killing the Baron pretty quick, and it would be 5v1.
Oh, don't use the big one yet.
How many rockets?
You better get in there quick. It's going down.
They get it.
Oh,
Callista secure.
that's going to be the kill as well.
Well,
Callista secure, Svenskeren secure, and Sneaky goes down. An overall ace in the end.
We got to see this fight again because this time Jensen does get the Sunday Scuff and it's going to contribute to the fight, but they don't actually fight in it. Jensen wants to go and get there, but the Braum ultimate zones them and stops them from being able to fight in that space. Such a spread out fight.
Double
Bjergsen
Lift
comes in
so
from the back,
much.
and
Yeah, the back line of TSM there taking down Jensen. Jensen all by himself. Cloud9 was spread out all over when they really want to rely on the Sundisc Tower as well as the Kindred Ultimate, but Kindred Ultimate actually worked against them. They didn't get the Yellow Star kill. He stayed in for the heal and then hopped out over to Double Lift. And TSM lose nobody on that. What a huge swing. TSM going to run this mid game straight up the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big power play right now. We said that Cloud9 has that scaling that they want to hit, but right now they might have trouble with the wave clear, and TSM might keep the pressure up pretty heavy.
They can definitely afford to stick here for a while. Jensen goes in, though!
Huge. Oh, We actually
Double
just
trapped
saw
on the package.
Sneaky go all the way back. They're trying to get a double lift. Gets cooked down on that. Sneaky low, but he's trying to find a way to get shots in from the outside. There's not much peel for balls. High throws the binding backwards, and they may be okay. Gets the cask on it. High's going to get out of this one alive. Balls falls down again. The last guy to keep valiantly going down in these fights as the team skitters away.
And Svenskeren ends up 7-0-5. This is why Graves has been banned in every single game against him previously from Cloud9.
Svenskeren has showed up, but that fight in particular was all about Cloud9 not letting TSM just push up in. They tried to force that issue, but again, TSM out-team fought them with their goalie. That's going to be the mid lane inhibitor.
I have to say, the difference between Bjergsen's positioning and Jensen's positioning in the last couple of team fights has been huge. Bjergsen getting off so much of that long-range Vel'Koz damage, whereas Jensen's wandering around, doesn't have really a front line to set up, can't get his auto damage off.
This pressure is relentless, though. This is something we never would have seen of TSM during the regular season. They'd be very slow with their leads, but they're 7,000 gold ahead. And they had a dead 80 carry, but they need to go up to the next one.
Balls is right next to Double Lift, but he's running away.
I mean, Double Lift is just going to start damaging him.
These guys are holding hands here. Slow
later,
walk on the beach. Double Lift gets thrown over the Baron wall. He's going to have to get back. Balls trying to go in. Another 4v1 situation. Gets taken down. The team cannot actually close it. And Bjergsen starts wiping people out with the laser recharge. Let's go in for another one, says TSM. And they're going to look for High. Here's the final attack. It's Svenskeren's. And they're going to have this turret as well.
In the last 5 minutes, Cloud9 season may have ended because TSM keeps winning fight after fight after fight, and Cloud9 keeps bringing it to them. It could have been one turret, but it's been more.
6,000 gold lead here with the Baron power play. 6,000 Baron power play.
Almost unstoppable, Kobe, if you look at it.
I mean, the power play's done, but the push isn't done.
All right, we got to stop right here. It's all done, right?
Yeah.
24 minutes in. Cloud9 hopes that portion of it is done. They're going to have to reset. They're going to have to repair, but TSM is very close to the semifinals.
Yeah, quite a reset. About 8,000 gold that TSM will get to spend on this trip back to base, which is insane. And this entire season for TSM, we'll see this fight one more time. Hanser just gets a lot of damage down early, so Cloud9 can't follow through onto the Poppy properly. Balls was hoping to arrive here and create a 5v4 situation, but Jensen and High are so far back. And again, the Vel'Koz ultimate just zoned.
From over 2 walls here, Bjergsen, the sniper positioning.
He's put his time in on Vel'Koz
there. And also, you can't really do that without the front line also playing well and also doing their jobs. Hanser, you can see multiple re-engages there from Hanser, body slamming on cooldown to get those knockups and keep them at bay, allowing them to put out the damage.
Oh, Jensen also trying to get some farm in the top lane, but Cloud9 is out of sorts. It almost feels like Hanser should get the slow. Here comes Svenskeren.
He basically negates the pushback of the Emperor's Divide by landing the barrel. Everything going right for TSM right now. The flash on High. All the defensive summoner spells being used, and they cannot be used to go aggressive on TSM, who's about to pull the trigger, ready to end this one. As they take down the second inhibitor turret of the game, 19-5, showing extremely strong in the quarterfinals.
And if Cloud9 gets a little bit too aggressive, the game would be over. They're down 2 inhibitors. Their super minions pushing in the mid, and they do not have Jensen. It's definitely time to take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit.
It's going to be tough to fight. Bjergsen went back on a blasting wand, finished the Leandries. A few other core items finished up here. He had about 3K to spend after that last fight. And now they're going to come running down the mid lane with that power. Rush, he's going to fall damage now. The Phantom Dancer, the everything.
Yeah, and look at this. TSM playing with purpose. This is one of the few games where we've seen them with immediately back to base. As soon as they get back to base, they purchase and they're right back out onto the field, onto the next objective here. Everybody heading bottom. They want to execute here and finish this game off.
And if they make it into the semifinals, you can almost forget what happened in the regular season a little bit as the 6th seed. Obviously, they could still have a lot of problems. But Svenskeren, that's a bad binding to get caught with.
He gets out himself. He can still kind of disengage the fight here.
This could be game.
Bjergsen with a good hit over the wall. Double it very low. Taking turret. He goes down. High is going to fall as well. And I believe, though, they do not lose Svenskeren over the side of the wall. They're still able to drop the TSM members. Everyone very, very low, though, as TSM pushes themselves to the limit on this second tier hit. Cloud9 was really going for broke on that one, and TSM still found the fight.
highest action game we've seen from TSM in a long time.
Yeah, usually you get this 20 minutes from now from TSM, but they are not stopping whatsoever. Very comfortable bringing out the Vel'Koz, now the Gragas top lane, and putting the other 3 on champions that have been comfort for them. And I was wondering what this composition was going to look like. You have the long-range slows from Bjergsen, the follow-up from Gragas and Haunter, and they are able to find single targets, or even more now that they're so far ahead. It's working out fantastically for them.
Svenskeren 10-0-7
Let's see this one more time.
He gets caught out at the start of this fight.
Yeah.
But Graves is very hard to burst with the Maw of Malmortius in particular. Then Haunter also has a great ultimate there on Gragas, and it's another one of these incredibly split fights. Doublelift ends up taking a little bit too much damage from the turret. He would have rather have Haunter take that.
Yeah, now Bjergsen's taking it.
Yeah, Haunter gets a little ahead of himself going for the kills instead of just tanking turret damage. And Baron is back up. Game on.
Svenskeren, 10-0-7. Where did you come from off of the regular season? Absolutely incredible play here.
Second most deaths of all junglers in the regular season.
Right.
Only 2 First Blood participations across an 18-game regular season as well. But he has been able to bounce back.
And it looks like they're just waiting for Haunter right now. They're not going for the easy dragon, which would be free. They're looking to finish them off now while the top inhibitor's down, pressure and get the second one. Wow, they're actually backing off. They could have gotten this dragon a lot longer if that was the plan. So this is the first moment where we saw a little bit of a lapse, and they kind of took a moment to think about it, but they've earned themselves that moment. 21 kills here, 10,000 gold lead almost, and they're going to be able to get that dragon very easily.
And at the back of our minds, we're always wondering if TSM had it in them to come back, right? You're always thinking they got all these talented players. Would they be able to turn it around? And they're just going to keep going.
Fate's Call goes in. They can even get balls on the front line before they have to focus anybody else. Definitely a see hero, kill hero game for TSM. If they see it, they can take it down. And it's all disengaged for Cloud9 right now. Onto the inhibitor turret. They drop one more. They'll have minions pouring in through the top lane, and TSM looks to put on the final touches.
It is an Azir and a Corki to defend, but this is a strong 5-man push, and they still have the Vel'Koz ultimate as well as a wave of super minions coming in. Yeah, but this could be it.
A quarterfinal matchup that had Cloud9 winning the first game. Rush trying to prevent the sweep. TSM coming back strong, though. 3 consistent games in a row. And a bloody, bloody 4th game that they may just take it on. 23-6, 30 minutes into the game. Team SoloMid take the quarterfinal match against Cloud9.
And what year is this? 2015, TSM would win the first game, win the next 3. It's like, it's a strategy, it's all this. But no, this was a completely different story and year for TSM. This was a 9-9 regular season team that had really been written off by a lot of people. Even Reginald in his drive piece said he's paying the price because this team didn't work out. But right now, against Cloud9, it worked out, and it still has a chance.
Yeah, I mean, all season long, you've even seen it in the TSM Legends show, right? They've remained optimistic for so long.
Growing pains, adversity, hardships, a work in progress
titles,
as they're losing more and more.
I think I have the perfect tile for the next one, Chad. TSM Legends, I told you so.
Oh boy.
Well, this one they can make a Triumph episode 2 as they make their way on now to the semifinals. Chronologic Gaming will be in front of them. It's going to be a very tall task. And Cloud9 coming off what was the kind of reverse sweep gauntlet split to a much more kind of righted ship, but still couldn't find the playoffs in the end.
Yeah, and look at that. TSM very happy with it. Everybody, especially.
It's kind of like, oh my God.
Graves. I mean,
especially after game 1 in this series.
Yeah, exactly. Not only did
a 25-minute loss.
Not only did they play a lot cleaner and with a lot more purpose, as the series moved on and cleaned up a lot of the mistakes, but I also like the fact that they were willing to branch out and they tried the top lane. Gragas that's been, seen over in LPL and LCK, and even the mid Vel'Koz here from Bjergsen doing soft and proud in Korea, right?
Absolutely, and it's got to be devastating for Cloud9 as well because their season was looking so good. Jensen was 2nd place in MVP voting. He was first team All-NA for mid lane, and just like that, against TSM, which we used to think as a finals matchup, Cloud9, their split is over.
And TSM going to Vegas.
And that was a very confident win as well. I think TSM's fans can be very happy about that, even with the results of the end of their split. We said they kind of show up here. We'll see if they can keep doing it, moving on to the quarterfinals. Strong all around, but Svenskeren picking it up. Yeah, there's some obviously last hits in there to get the kills, but 11-0-8 and his Nidalee previously against Rush helped to kind of be the catalyst to what TSM needed.
Yeah, that was the biggest difference in this series based on expectations. They're thinking, man, Svenskeren, all he does is die all the time. He's useless early game.
Right.
Rush, oh man, he's an MVP. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was kind of the opposite this series. Rush was dying in a lot of different places, and Svenskeren kept a large amount of jungle pressure, even outwarded him in some of the games. Obviously, the team helps a lot with that, but the performance difference was huge.
And it kind of makes me wonder back to the first game when I first started seeing Rush on Kindred, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember when he was talking about Kindred before, he did not like the champion, didn't think that it was good, but it seems like he picked it up just because it's had such a high win rate for experienced players, and it's been played so much in Korea.
It reminds me a bit of Nunu last year when he tried to play Nunu in the playoffs when they got eliminated.
Right.
It's tricky.
Sometimes you get inside your own head. They had to do what they could. And unfortunately, they go down to TSM. Fortunately for TSM fans, you're going to see them going up against Counterlogic Gaming, and they move on to the semifinals. For a closer look now at that series win, let's head over to Zyrene at the Telestrator.
Thank you very much, Riv. And TSM, throughout that entire series, their adaptations were fantastic. You could tell straight off the bat in Game 2, immediately, Cloud9 was the one that was forced to adapt to the TSM play style, and it happened again and again. And TSM, they're going to need that because they're playing Immortals in the semifinals due to dynamic seeding. So the 6th seed comes in here right now. Set this fight up really quickly. You can see on the minimap, everybody's kind of split off here, but there's 3 members for both teams in the mid lane. And we're going to see as they trickle into this what the landscape of the fight looks like at that point. So as we start this clip, Svenskeren, he walks forward. He knows that Yellowstar has his back on the right side of him. And there's a pink ward here as well. So Yellowstar can jump out at any time and kind of get the jump onto Cloud9. Cloud9 try to siege this turret down because it's so low, and then they engage. Hai uses his ultimate onto 2 members, but immediately you're going to see Yellowstar breaks it off by going down to the left side, and you're also going to see that Svenskeren uses his ultimate to get himself back. So he gets away from the ultimate, and Hai has essentially used his ultimate for nothing and just a zoning tool. Yellowstar is then going to throw his ultimate and hit Sneaky, who is then forced to actually retreat to a path of safety up that way. And that's going to leave Jensen all by himself here because he's trying to set up this turret as Haunter is coming in from the left side. So as we roll this out, you're going to see Svenskeren disengage. Hai uses ultimate on nothing. Sneaky has to back up. Now Haunter gets peeled by balls, but Jensen on the bottom left side, well, he has to go after Bjergsen now, and then they all collapse on him as the Kindred ultimate is even keeping Yellowstar alive at that point and helping him out as Rush does not want to go down there, and Haunter and the rest of the team able to clean up this fight. And that was a lot of just disengaging and engaging and using the right abilities on the right people. But Jensen also tunnel visioned on getting that turret up and defending that position where the rest of the team wasn't in a position to actually get to that turret and use it for safety. Whereas TSM able to come in from multiple flanks and apply that pressure and use the Vel'Koz extremely effectively there. So the adaptation that we saw from TSM ultimately gave them that victory as the 6th seed over the 3rd seed there. And now out of 7 semifinals that we've ever had in the LCS, they've been participating now in all 7 of them. Now, let's hand it off to some of those semifinalists who's got some words for Dash.
Thank you very much, Zyrene. That's right. I'm joined by Bjergsen and Doublelift after a 3-0 victory over Cloud9. So almost 3-1. I mean, my bad. It's just the 3 happened in a row. That's what it was. We shut the first one out of our brains. Now, it's a 3-1 victory. Doublelift, I'm going to come to you first. I mean, you've been very vocal about the fact that you want to keep the TSM attendance to the finals alive. And with this roster, you've now taken the first step towards that by winning this quarterfinals. How does it feel to have won in that 3-1 fashion, recovering from the first game?
Yeah, after the first game, I wasn't feeling so good, obviously, because they had this double global comp that like really brings down your morale. Feels like you can't do anything. But the entire time, I just remembered our practice, and I think all of us just focused on like what did we do in practice that made us so good. And it would be a shame if like we embarrassed the TSM legacy. We didn't make the semis, we didn't make the finals, because this was supposed to be a really good roster, and we didn't show in the regular split. So we're just going to do it in playoffs instead.
Well, now, Doublelift, you're new to that legacy. Bjergsen, not so new. So, again, talk to me about maybe the weight that puts on your shoulders, knowing that, you know, this organization has gone so far every split, and that the expectation is there that you guys do so from both the fans as well as yourselves and the organization.
There's definitely a lot of pressure because people kind of looked at it as kind of like when Froggen was rebuilding Alliance, I was rebuilding TSM, and this is kind of like the team that I managed to pull out, and we didn't manage to show up in the regular split, just like Double said, but I think all the players deal with pressure really well. It really just came down to finding out how our team dynamic worked and finding a good way of practicing, and I think that's something that we improved a lot towards in the last couple of weeks.
Now, that being said, you guys did have a tumultuous season. That was no secret. But given that you had the 2-week period to kind of retool as a team and get in, to a room and discuss how do we practice better and how do we play better, Doublelift, what was the result there? What was the determination in terms of this is the issue we need to correct?
Oh man, there was so many issues, but I think the biggest one for me was just everyone was trying to make solo plays on our team because everyone was like individually really good and they're kind of used to doing their own thing and then their team playing around them. And then like after the regular split was over, we were just like, damn, we suck so bad. It was just like so embarrassing. So we kind of sat down, we were just like, we need to start making plays always together. Like everyone is all in on every play. And after the first game, we were just like, okay, we have to turn it on. And it felt exactly how it was in practice, where every single play we made, we were all committed to it, and we would just like always clap Cloud9 mid lane, and there was like just nothing they could do about it, so it feels good.
I think we, coming into practice, we just kind of had the mentality that every time someone makes a call, every time someone makes an engage, you commit. We're gonna, I know a lot of teams say this, and it's also something we've said in the past, but we really went all in on this. Every time someone makes a play, you're going to commit, and we're going to lose a lot of fights, a lot of scrims off of it, but in the end, it brought us really close as a team, both in and out of the game.
I mean, I think the replay that Zyrene went over kind of served to show, and the casters made the comment that this is some of the most bloody League of Legends we've seen TSM play, and it kind of only serves to prove your point that as you guys are making calls, they were followed up on. I do, though, then want to ask about how the shot calling has developed for the team, as it is a more bloody and intense game, especially against the likes of Cloud9, who they're a team that also goes all in on calls. Whether they're right or wrong, those guys follow the calls. So how did that kind of develop throughout the series? Did you guys learn and adjust how those fights were going and the way and the tendencies that Cloud9 had?
I don't think we adapted as much to their tendencies as much as we adapted to our team comp.
Okay.
We changed from having a Zed to a Volkaz, which is a completely different comp, and we changed our comps pretty rapidly throughout the series. So it was really just about how we wanted to play team fights and going off our practice. I think everyone just feels really confident in our team fighting. And as much as we could be worrying about them, we had really strong faith in our own, and that's why we just put focus on ourselves.
Now, you touched on the fact that you guys played the likes of Zed, Azir, and Vel'Koz, some very different champions. For you as an individual, Bjergsen, I know that there has been criticism to the mid lane, that this isn't the team solo mid anymore, right? We've got these fantastic players that have the ability to carry in every role, so the spotlight, to a degree, has been taken off the mid lane. But you really kind of stepped up and were able to shine in this series, the 11-0 and 6 Zed. What is it specifically that has allowed you to kind of broaden that champion pool and get back to the versatility that we've known you for?
For me personally, after our NRG game where we lost, me and Sven just put a lot of time into duo queuing, watching replays together, kind of understanding how other teams play around mid, because it always changes through time. And going up against C9, we knew that if we didn't play well around mid, they were going to play well around mid, and they were going to get Jensen fed. So we knew that however the mid lane matchup was going to go was going to be important for this series. So I put a lot of time in with Sven and Yellowstar and just how to control mid, how to control vision, how do we translate our pressure. And it was really kind of going back to the old TSM, and it was really funny when we had, I think, 5 people mid at like 10 minutes, and I said, TSM is back, baby.
There it is. There it is. TSM is back. Doublelift, I'm going to come to you as well, though, because as this is a team, throughout this series, as a team, you guys kind of showed that a different individual can carry each game. We had the 5-1-7 Maokai performance from Hanser, where he became just an unkillable tank. We had the 11-0 and 6 Zed performance. I can't remember the exact, at one point it was 10-0 and 2 Sven, Scaren on Graves in this most recent game. What does that do for you as an individual, and what kind of confidence does it instill, knowing that in the first series of playoffs, each individual on the team was able to step up at a different moment and kind of pull you guys through it?
Oh yeah, this is kind of the TSM that people were expecting, and it was the one that I was really looking forward to. It's super motivating because when you're playing with people and they're just carrying you for games like Bjergsen carrying me on Zed, it's just like, you're like, wow, it feels good, and it's also highly motivating because you want to be that person. You want to be like solo killing people and making these big plays, but like our biggest focus was obviously on team play, but the fact that everyone was working so hard during practice in these last 2 weeks just was highly motivating for everyone. Like nobody was slouching or messing around.
Now, finally, I got to ask you guys, due to dynamic seeding, you will be going up against Immortals in the next round. I mean, this was a team that went 17-1 in the regular season. There's high expectations for them, as there are high expectations for you. I don't really... I'll go to you, Double, for this one. What is the confidence level for you guys going in your ability to make it to that finals once again as an organization?
I mean, it's obvious. Like, we've never not made the finals, so.
There it is. I like the confidence. Well, gentlemen, congratulations on the 3-1 victory today. Super, super solid. Wish you best of luck in your next week of practice. For some final thoughts on that series, though, we're going to head over to the caster desk.
Thank you very much, Dash. Already touched on the first of it, that the reseeding causes TSM to play Immortals, not CLG, as I said before. But what a game from TSM to come out this strong in the end of the split, something we really didn't expect to see from them before, and seems much happier on the desk. Even after wins, talking to Team SoloMid, it'd still be a very lax talk. They would say, yeah, you know, we played well here, but they seem to be very much more behind each other, much more happier with just the situation, the environment, the atmosphere they're in.
Yeah, definitely what they're doing has helped them grow a lot, you know, from where they were earlier this season. But it does make me wonder about in the future, if their plan is to always go in on every call no matter what. Sometimes there are calls where you need to cut your losses and, you know, you only have one person die, 4 people back out, and you live and you don't give up a bunch of stuff. If everyone commits to every call, sometimes there are those calls where, oh, that guy's dead.
Yeah.
Someone called us to go in. Here we go. Now we lost the game off of one play, which could have just been a small thing.
Yeah.
That's obviously fine-tuning that you'll get to later. Easy fixes. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think from the series overall, though, like it's a little bit strange that it happened the way it did, because it did feel super hopeless for TSM throughout the regular season, and this playoff victory was unlike any playoff victory we've seen from TSM as far as how excited they were afterwards.
Right.
Like, we think about previous years when they win a quarterfinal, they win a semifinal, they're just kind of
Always
like, oh yeah,
expected to
good
go
job,
to
man.
the
Yeah, we're gonna do
playoffs,
this.
yeah.
But here, you could see a lot of genuine excitement, because there was fear within the organization that they were going to be knocked out in the quarterfinals as the 6th seed and the underdog coming in. So that experience may have just kind of galvanized the team towards being a stronger force. But it's yet to be seen, because they have literally the hardest possible path through the playoffs.
That's what you get for having a lower seed now.
Yeah.
We have seen, though, these scrim blocks these teams are hitting extremely long throughout the days. We've talked to Renegades. We talked to Dylan on Immortals. Like, all these teams are doing much more extended scrim blocks. And we saw it help Renegades. We saw it's always helped Immortals. But we actually see it here help TSM as well, with more coaching staff to prepare for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I was honestly pretty skeptical about Reginald being like, oh yeah, I was away from the game, I'm going to step in and show him how it's done. It's like, dude, you haven't even been following the game. How are you going to know how to
He's down in
make
5.
it work?
Right.
He's down in 5. But, you know, just I think the effort from everyone on the team, and then the renewed focus of everyone pitching in, not just Reginald, but Parth coming back, and then also having Weldon step in, and then the players trying to take it to the next level. Like, all of those things combined end up leading to their victory over Cloud9.
It's the whole kit and caboodle, baby.
Yeah.
Now, to close out our day's coverage, let's toss it over to our S+ analyst desk.
Whoa.
Aw, thanks, Riv.
Yeah, I got a chest!
But do you have the key to open it? That's the question.
No, I just play like once a week. You know?
Exactly. Well, gentlemen, 3-1 victory for Team SoloMid. I've got to come to Mark and Zyrene first, as you guys correctly predicted the winners of this series. So first off, feel free to gloat.
Yeah, I was obviously so confident when I was giving my prediction. I didn't waver between 3-2, 3-0, averaged out to 3-1.
Yeah, I got you. But
for me, it was really the Weldon effect. When I learned that Weldon was going to work with them, I have a psychology background, and when I hear that a sports psychologist is working with a team, and that's a huge advantage, and it's a team that has a lot of problems internally with intercommunication, then I definitely think that that's something that's going to boost them up, and we saw the results from Game 2 onward. But the draft was so good, and you saw that Cloud9 had to actually try to adjust, and they were adjusting to the previous game.
Yep.
So they're adjusting the previous game, and TSM's just like, no, we're going to play this game this time. And so it looked like if Cloud9 had played that draft against the previous game, it would have been a better one.
yeah, I think the two major things that stood out for me, draft being one of them, the adaptations that they made obviously put them in a far superior position going into games. The second thing being what they, Bjergsen and Double spoke about in the interview, which is that as a team, they made a conscious decision, and they know a lot of teams, a lot of players say it. They say that they're going to follow everyone's calls, but they, as a team, actively made the efforts in scrims and in practices to say if someone makes a call, we're going to go head first into that battle with them. And yes, sometimes there were misplays. We saw it in Game 1. The Haunter TP, not good. But at the end of the day, if you're doing that 100% of the time, 90% of the time, it's going to work out in your favor.
Yeah, and in fact, if you look at, you can use the stats to back up this argument as well, because in the final game, you had Sven Skiren 11-0-8, Yellowstar 0-0-18. Those are the only guys in the team that were unkilled. And those were the death leaders of the team coming in, right? Second most killed jungler, Yellowstar dying for free like all game long because, well, no crap, they're the initiators. They're the one going in, doing things first. And now with the team backing up, well, they go unkilled and all the team fights go their way.
And you were about to say that they're
actually, yeah, the league leaders in deaths for the regular season, 1 and 2, Sven and then Yellowstar, I think it was. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, big on them to shore up those weaknesses.
Were they making the right calls all along, and it was just everybody else was
some
following
of them? Were wrong. To be fair, some of them were wrong. There were some significant misplays from TSM. Well, I'm not absolving them of everything, but yes, the team coming together with those helped a lot.
I'll bring us back. I'll bring us back. I want to talk about the player of the series. There was one player that stood out from the rest and claimed our player of the series honors, and that was Bjergsen. Bjergsen impressed in Game 2 on Azir and turned the tables on Jensen by counterpicking Zed and Vel'Koz in the preceding games, leading TSM to victory in this quarterfinal match.
Yeah, not only did he play well, he showed new aspect to his champion pool with the Vel'Koz, and also that he controlled Cloud9's draft. They were trying to draft around Bjergsen and try to exploit him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to hit on, is that it seems like, in retrospect, very bad to early pick your Azir and just give... They think they ban Zed, and then there's other counters that we've seen Jarvan in other regions, and with Bjergsen clearly being the one playing his best on this day, it seems bad to have given him the option to counterpick on blue side when you can avoid it.
Yeah, and I think this is actually kind of a best-of-5 scenario where you have Vel'Koz practice, you have Azir practice, keep early picking it. If you find success with it, they're going to try to pick it away from you.
Right.
And then you have the Vel'Koz. So the preparation comes in there because that's not a champion that you just go, oh, I play that in my back pocket. Yeah. It's like, no, you definitely grind some Vel'Koz.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. That's what playing around the metagame is. When you know Azir is a go-to A or S tier mid laner, you're aware every team wants Azir. And we saw Fnatic brought in the Kassadin, and we saw the Vel'Koz come in from Bjergsen. Like, that is how you use the metagame when you're coming into a high-profile matchup. You understand what's sought after, and you prep those counters, and they work beautifully.
And, of course, at the end of the day, as the rest of the team performs better, that enables you more as a mid laner to perform well as well. There you have it.
Yeah, we got you.
Well, it worked. TSM's win, exactly. We can update one side of the bracket. Dynamic seeding is in effect, and as the lowest seed, TSM will be facing off against Immortals next week in the semifinals, while Counterlogic Gaming will play against the winner of tomorrow's series. Now, in addition to securing a spot in the semifinals, TSM also guarantee that they will be banking at least 30 championship points, so all of those points becoming more and more important as we move into the summer split. Tomorrow, we will see Liquid and Energy Esports face off for their shot at the semifinals in our second day of playoff matches. These teams have been neck and neck all split, and this is their final opportunity to prove who is the superior team and claim a spot in the semifinals. That will hit your streams tomorrow immediately following the European LCS, or if you're in the Los Angeles area, feel free to come out and cheer these teams on in person. There's a few tickets still available on lolesports.com, so be sure to pick those up. I want to get a brief discussion about tomorrow's matchup, as these teams were neck and neck all season long. Liquid kind of squeezing their way into that 4th place right there in that final week of play. Initial thoughts on that matchup?
Liquid looked like a team that have figured out what they wanted to do, and they have for the last couple of weeks now. It's Dardoch is the big playmaker. Phoenix and Piglet are super consistent, and just figuring out where the rest of those guys fit into that roster, and it's just a very cohesive 5-man unit. Even with language difficulties, they're all doing the same thing at the same time. Good enough individual skill in all the 5 roles.
Yeah, and you talked about how they slid into that 4th place spot. I actually think that that's a little low for them. I think that they're actually a very incredibly powerful team. They just haven't shown us everything that they're made of.
All right, and
I'm
with
biased.
some inside information.
You're biased.
I'm biased. Yeah. I think Energy does have like a chance in the series. We're talking Team Liquid up a lot right now, but I think they just need to change their style a little bit from what we saw in the regular season. Impact on tanks versus Lorlo isn't going to be the critical factor in the series unless you put him on carries where he can actually get an advantage. So I think if Energy plays the exact same game they've been playing all season, they might be in some trouble.
All right, well, they've had the 2 weeks, just as TSM did, to kind of figure out some new strategies and maybe come out with a surprise for Team Liquid. Regardless, should be an exciting series. I do want to extend a special thank you to Mark for keeping us company and sharing his insights on the desk today. And for the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and stay classy, League fans.
is Cloud9 versus Team SoloMid in the quarterfinals, and we are in game 1. Onto Balls, and now Balls has to get out. Doing a great job of getting each other back and forth, but Balls can't get out in time.
Oh my!
And he goes down.
Elise flashed in, Elise flashed in. Kill Elise. Push, top, Tiki, we're going mid.
Rush now going in, there's no turret. That's going to be a double kill for Sneaky. Looking for the triple kill coming in onto Hanser. Cloud9 takes game 1 of the series.
Oh, he still W. He has X-Drinker. He might be dead. He has Flash. Nice.
Good shit.
I'm building tower. I'm Zonius.
Right.
I feel for you
flash down. I'm gonna flash down.
Your teammate. Kill him. Your teammate.
Come on, bro. We win this.
As TSM takes game 2.
Just be like Yamato Cannon. Can you do like Yamato Cannon? Just believe.
I'm not gonna do that.
Focus on your game.
He's just Go Brom.
Nice.
I got Take tower.
Nice. I took your vision.
Good shit.
You win it mid.
Jin flash.
Absolutely melting. Lambs Respite, the last thing saving them from being 6 feet under here. And there's a kill onto Sneaky in an even stronger fashion. TSM take game 3 of the series. They're faster. This is what Z9 needs. We've seen a lot of trouble if they get back in the early game. And then TSM comes back with the full team. Fates calls in, Fates calls out, and Double It flashes for the kill.
Timid. Where are you at?
No, I'm dead. I killed Kindred. Where's his head? Oh, he's dead. Okay. I beat one.
They can even get balls on the front line before they have to focus anybody else. Definitely a see hero, kill hero game for TSM. TSM coming back strong though. 3 consistent games in a row. Team SoloMid take the quarterfinal match against Cloud9.